Welcome back to Dom's Corner, everybody. I am your host, Dom Martino, and sitting over to my left on the news is Miss Sammy Ramirez. Sammy, how you doing today?
Hello. I'm doing good. Happy to be here.
Good.
Doing good. I'm in a new room, new setting.
Right on.
It's quite nice.
And I am in the same
scenery.
room today, and so that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, we got a lot of fun stories today. We got a couple trailers to talk about. I know we missed the Suicide Squad one last week. Sorry about that, but we'll get to that today, of course. And we're also going to be talking about, maybe some Star Wars 1313 news, which is pretty exciting. A big Rian Johnson deal also that just came into play. But hey, guys, before we get started today, please hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, and leave some feedback in the comment section. Share this with your friends and hit the bell for notifications. Much appreciated. So, let me tell you what I've been doing. I watched some original Star Trek again for the first time in a while.
Nice. Interesting. All right.
Yeah, I haven't done this in a long time. The show's so fun but so off the wall, like the original Star Trek. If you ever seen it, it's crazy off the wall. There are some
I haven't actually.
There's insane episodes.
I do know that I have to watch it, because I will say I don't go there anymore, with school college I was going to was offering a class on Star Trek, and the professor who was going to teach it came into my class, because it was like a 201 level class, so it was just kind of like a general people who might take this class. And like the way he sold that class to everybody in there, he like made it a point to be like, he made Star Trek seem like the most fascinating, most interesting, weird thing you could study and watch. That like I would like, after that I was completely sold, because I've said before, like my first introduction to Star Trek was watching the movie Fanboys and seeing Seth Rogen be like the nerdiest, grossest kind of guy ever, who was like this big Star Trek guy. So I mean, I unfortunately haven't seen any. But
I'm not a big Star Trek guy myself. I'm gonna try to I finally decided I'm gonna try to binge it all, go through all of it finally, and it's a lot of content for sure. But it's for sure. I want to watch these new ones to see if they're any good to me, because they're
right. Are you gonna do the Hulk? So I know, because I literally only know this because of that presentation that professor gave. So I know there's the original series, and then New Generation, and then Deep Space Nine. I know are like the big ones.
Yeah. For sure, I'll do those.
Yeah. So you're gonna do all of them?
Yeah. What's the one that it was one of the more modern ones that I do refuse to watch.
Right.
I can't remember.
It's like Picard.
Not Picard. I'll watch Picard. I'm interested in Picard. No, it's not more modern in terms of our generation. I guess it's more modern in terms of before all the what are now Paramount Plus shows, started coming out. I can't think of the name of it. It's Star Trek.
I don't know either.
It's not Voyager, I don't think. It's definitely not Deep Space Nine, I don't think, but it's really bad. Like, I watched a little bit of it.
Those and the J.J. Abrams movies are the only ones that I could call by name.
Yeah. It's not Voyager. It's not...
Wrath of Khan is one of the movies.
Wrath of Khan is supposedly amazing, and I can't wait to watch the actual movies.
And I literally only know about that because I'm a huge Benedict Cumberbatch fan, and so I was watching interviews when Into Darkness was coming out, and he was like, it's very similar to Wrath of Khan. And only reason I know about that. So
I remember for the longest time when he was denying having anything to do with the Into Darkness movie, when everybody thought he was playing Khan, and he kept denying it.
That's right.
Yeah, and it was like a big deal to people, but
it was big because that was also at the height of Sherlock, and Sherlock was very people wanted spoilers very much, and he just could not give them to him. So I remember that being a big time where Benedict Cumberbatch was like, I just can't talk about anything, guys.
yeah, for sure. What was gosh dang it. Yeah, the JJ ones I actually do like. I know I'm in the minority because
me too.
Star Trek fans really
haven't
don't
seen
the
third.
Yeah, I
Haven't
haven't
seen
seen either.
Beyond, but I liked those first two a lot.
The Justin Lin one I haven't seen, but most of my like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's really odd because like general film fans seem to really like the first two J.J. Abrams ones the most of the new movies, but
Yeah.
hardcore Star Wars fans like seem to like the Justin Lin, the third one, Beyond. I think it was Star Trek Beyond. They seem to think that that's
Star
the
Trek
best
Beyond,
one.
yeah.
They say everybody says
Wow.
that's the one that's the most Star Trek of the three. Like that, all the hardcore Star Trek fans I talk to. But like,
Wow.
yeah, I'm not a huge Star Trek guy. I never have been. I've always liked the original series. That's one thing. Like I've always enjoyed it, and it's still good. Like there's this episode, which most fans will know this very well, called Charlie X, where they like bring this guy on board, and he's got this like mind control power, and it's like the kid that it's like a kid that they bring on board, and this kid's given like Hayden Christensen level of performance in it. It's just
Wow.
but it's very off the wall. It's very off the
Right.
wall. It's just like
But iconic. People who know.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and there's so many episodes like that. I actually forgot how off the wall the episodes felt like in the beginning of it when you start it, because like they really do, like you could definitely tell that they had to find their groove in the beginning there. It's really really strange, but yeah, no, not a massive Star Trek fan. I know people will shit on me all day because I've never seen The Next Generation. Like I know they'll shit on me all day, but I know that like that and the original series are like the two like beloved, and then there's a couple of the movies that people love. I've seen Star Trek the motion picture, the first film, and it's good. It's great. That one is really great. To me anyway. There's some Star Trek fans that don't really like it because it's a very artsy version of Star Trek for the most part. But like I really like it. If you like Stanley Kubrick type movies and things like that, I definitely recommend the motion picture because it's very artsy in that way. It's really good. But I've never actually seen Wrath of Khan. I know people would kill me for that, or yeah, I'm admitting it here, folks. You're hearing it here first. I am
admitting it. He admits it. Okay.
I'm not caught up on Star Trek. I have seen the original series, the motion picture, the J.J. Abrams films, and that's about it. And then there's one other one that I've seen, and it's terrible. It's a series that was done, and it's awful. There's one other one. I
can't remember.
And I can't think of the name of it, unfortunately. But I'm sure you'll all let me know which one it was, because it's bad.
It's in the comments right now.
It's so bad. So, and like to the point where I'm sure even Star Trek fans consider it to be bad. That's the other thing too. Like I do have a lot of fans that are like hardcore Star Trek fans. So like for the most part, I know what's good, but they don't really tell me what's considered bad in Star Trek other than the J.J. Abrams movies and the new shows. They don't really tell me anything else that I shouldn't watch in Star Trek. They're just like, they seem to be on board with it all. So you just
assume that it's all good.
I assume, but maybe not. Maybe there is stuff I shouldn't be watching in Star Trek. Maybe it'll ruin the experience for me. But I mean, I definitely know the original series, Next Generation, but then you got all these different movies, and I'm not sure which movies I'm supposed to watch or not. Like which movies are good. I know the first one and Wrath of Khan, but other than that, I've never heard anything about. Because I think it's either like the fourth or the fifth one that people say is like one of the best or most underrated like Star Trek movies out there. I can't remember, but it's like the original fourth or fifth one. But it's big. Yeah, it's huge. It's a big deal. Like to hardcore Star Trek fans, but people generally don't like it. I don't know. I don't remember, but it's it's interesting. I'm also still on season 6 of Boy Meets World, by the way.
Nice, season 6.
Still on season 6 though. I was as of yesterday. I was, and I'm still on it. But we're getting close. That's 6 seasons out of 7, so I'm getting close to wrapping that up. So that'll be fun. Wow. And then when I'm done, we're gonna. Are
you gonna do Girl Meets World after?
I might. Like I think if you and I do it together, we should do Girl Meets World after.
Watch Girl Meets World.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily motivated to rewatch it right now, but like if you and I watch it together, I'll definitely be motivated to do it because there's still great moments in there that I want you to see as like a fan of Boy Meets World if you become one.
And so, I feel and I feel like if I watch all 7 seasons, I'm gonna be curious to at least see what Girl Meets World is, at least. I'm
Yeah.
gonna like be curious enough to watch.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't get good until season 2, I feel like. But like there's still like some really good setup in season 1 that you got to get through.
Right.
But season 2, like, but it's not as they don't carry as much forward as they did in like Boy Meets World. Like there's a lot of stuff in Boy Meets World that like it sets up in the first season that gets carried forward later and is like important to the overall story. And then as opposed to like Girl Meets World, there's like a lot more filler. Not that there wasn't in Boy Meets World. I'm just saying that it feels more fillery in Girl Meets World, probably because a lot of it has comedy that just doesn't land, and it feels very repetitive of itself. And there is some good stuff that they carry forward in Girl Meets World. It's just at least
yeah, absolutely.
Boy Meets World, you get some really good laughs out of all the episodes. There's not one that won't make you die laughing at some point, or the stories are always to me important. I never actually realized like how much they till I binged it this time around, like how much they did like develop their characters early on to make the effects happen later so well, for things that happen. And I'm like, they do a really good job at that. I know why it's one of the highest rated sitcoms now, not just because it's damned hilarious.
And beloved.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Like, the cult following for Boy Meets World is real. Like, it really is out there. It's real.
Oh my gosh,
100% people love this show. I mean, I think it's really, really super great. So did you see, crap, I had a really good point to bring up. Did you see something about, it was a streaming service, and I can't remember. Eesh.
I don't remember.
Eesh. Oh my gosh.
We got like Discovery Plus is coming out. We got Paramount Plus.
Is there a Discovery Plus?
There is. I get ads for it on YouTube and everything. I'm constantly getting ads for Discovery Plus.
What would you get on Discovery Plus?
Here's the thing. I don't pay attention that much to these ads. It's a lot of like Discovery shows, like Shark Week stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of nature, nature documentaries, stuff like that.
Shark Week is Discovery.
Did you ever watch? Yeah. I believe so. Yes, I believe so. Did you ever watch Discovery Kids? Did you have that channel growing up?
I think I had it, but I don't think I watched it a lot, if I remember right.
Oh my god, I watched it so much. There were two shows that I was obsessed with. There was one where they would get like a boy and a girl who were friends, and they would get them to decorate each other's rooms, and they would make the most epic. So it was like the boys would decorate the girls' room, and then they'd get like one of their friends too, and then the girls would decorate the boys' room. But it was like legit. Like they made the coolest rooms of all time. Like if you were interested in ballet, your room became a ballet studio. If they like sports, the room literally became like they would get grass and put grass as the rug and stuff. Like it was insane. That show was the absolute best thing in the world. And there was another one where they had like kids from I think like Australia and then kids from America, and they like went and did like different just like outdoor adventures together. Like there was one where they like swam with sharks. They went to the Florida Everglades. Yeah. And like I remember I loved that show, and the kids on that show were so cool. Oh my god, sorry, I just thought of another one. There was this show called Flight 29 Down, I believe it was called, and it was literally Lost but with teenagers.
Really?
Like it wasn't even funny. It was Lost but teenagers. That was it. It was literally a ripoff of Lost. Yeah. It was so fun. I remember learning it, but I didn't know that at the time. I just loved Flight 29 Down. Yeah. And I remember like learning about Lost, and I was like, weird. Did they take that from Flight 29 Down? And I was like, oh no.
JJ, did you take that from a kid's show? 100%
the opposite. You take that from a kid's show? I'm on to you, JJ. I remember that show. I had Discovery Kids growing up.
We got to keep going through Discovery Kids and see if we can find Rise of Skywalker in there somewhere too. Like in the whole plot is in there.
Oh my gosh. I bet, honestly.
Possibly.
Oh my god, it was like, yeah. Because if that's not the case, I'm 99.9% sure that Lost came out before Flight 29 Down. But I'm like, if it's the reverse, that's going to be insane.
Yeah.
I doubt it, though.
I feel like, Well,
It was so much Lost. I've never watched Lost, but the more clips I've seen, the more I'm like, wow, that show was just that show's just a ripoff. It was so good though. The actors on that show are so good.
I wonder if you watch it now, if it even
Yeah.
holds up to Lost. Like, if it even holds a candle to Lost. It probably wouldn't. It'd probably be like, I
I
guess
should
it
try to
wasn't
find
nearly
it.
as good as
I bet I
Lost.
could find it.
Yeah, oh
Oh
probably.
my God. Yeah, no, literally. No, it wasn't. But literally, like the plots were so insane. It was the same. It was they were on a plane and it crashed on this island. Now they're all stranded there. And it would flash
Huh.
back between like when they were like on land before, and then it would flash forward in time and stuff. And
Yeah.
there were mysteries about the island and different people. Like it was insane. It was lost. It was lost.
I was more of a PBS guy when I was a kid.
Oh, I also loved PBS. PBS morning shows
Yeah.
were like my jam.
Yeah.
Zaboomafoom.
I don't
Did you
remember
watch
that one. I don't remember that one.
I love that was with the oh man, it was a lemur. It was a
Really?
lemur, and it was like these two guys in a lemur, and they lived like in the jungle or something, and it was about animals. It's called Zaboomafoom.
No, I don't remember
That
that
was
one.
my jam.
That was no, I don't remember that
Dragon
at all.
Tales.
Yeah, I remember that being I think that was still like a little after my time, though. Like I think that was like it started airing right when I was phasing out of PBS Kids.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Right. While we're on this trail, have you ever watched HBO Kids at
There was
all?
an HBO Kids. No.
Specifically, yeah. Oh my gosh. So, if you've never heard of Crashbox,
No.
do you know about Crashbox?
No.
Crashbox was the weirdest show of all time. It was like a sketch. It was kind of like a sketch show, but the framing was like you're going into a computer and kind of playing computer games, but they were all like it was so weird. And so it started out and there's like all these little robots that used to scare the shit out of me as a child, by the way. They're scary. You can look it up.
Yeah.
Like the Crashbox little robots. And they would like be working on games, and then they would bring out like a little game, put it in a thing, and then it would go into that game.
Yeah.
And it would be like, I think there was one oh man, I forget what it was called, but it would be like, oh, it was good, Dusty Pictures, that's what it's called. And it would be like a dusty art gallery, and like a guy would slowly dust it off, and they'd give you clues about who it was, and you'd have to guess it. It was stuff like that. But oh my, it was weird though. It was a weird. That is a staple of my childhood, Crashbox. My brother and I, that like in my family, like we watched it so much that like Crashbox is like a thing in my family.
Wow. No, oh, excuse me while I yawn.
Very good.
You're not boring me or anything.
Crashbox not good enough for you?
Long week. No,
Exactly.
no, I wasn't allowed to turn to HBO. There were boobies on that channel, I was told, so I wasn't allowed to turn to that.
I don't know why I guess my parents just like saw that there was kids shows, but it was like a channel that was like HBO Kids.
Right.
That they would do that in the morning, and then it would just be kids movies for the rest of the day.
Right.
Oh my gosh, they did this other one called Happily Ever After, Fairy Tales for Every Child. And they would just do different adaptations of fairy tales, but it would all be like culturally specific. So it'd be like Cinderella, but in like an African village, or it would be, Beauty and the Beast, but like in China or something like that. And it was oh my God, talk about representation. HBO Kids was doing that like in the 90s. That show was incredible.
No, never even heard of HBO Kids till you just mentioned it.
I think that's on HBO. I think it's on HBO Max.
Really?
I think Happily Ever After, Fairy Tales for Every Child. I think I've seen it on HBO Max.
Interesting. No, I don't.
I would check it out. It's cool.
I don't remember hearing about it.
I remember it being good. I remember them being good too. And they're like adaptations of like the classic fairy tales. They're not like the Disney-fied versions.
Right.
Like they do like the Grimm's version, the Hans Christian Andersen's version.
Interesting. No, never heard of any of this.
But still like kid friendly. Oh my God, 10 out of 10 would recommend that. That show was really good.
Well, when I have kids,
and Flight 29 down.
When I have kids, I'll find them.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. There's certain things that I feel like I just am too dated for. Like
I feel that.
I even tried Ed, Edd and Eddy
Right.
the other day, and I can't even watch Ed, Edd and Eddy anymore. Like I was like, this show is
Really?
too young for me anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah, like it was cool to put
Well, I mean,
on,
as we can
but
see, I mean, literally, as we can see, I'm literally drinking out of a Disney princess cup. Like,
yeah,
it's my jam.
you do you, booby.
All of
You're
that,
good.
fairy tales, everything. It's really the. I mean, I love Disney specifically, but it's like the whole fairy tale story and folk tale and all of that.
Fair enough.
It's just mythology. Like,
Yeah,
love all of that.
well, you do you.
That's at the center.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all good. I just Ed, Edd and Eddy. Can't even watch that. That's like my
Yeah.
cutoff, I think. Ed, Edd and Eddy.
Right. Right.
Love that show when I
That's
was
a
a
pretty
kid.
decent cutoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Loved that show when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Just doesn't hold up the same anymore. But I was excited to see it on HBO Max. I didn't realize that they were going to have like a ton of like.
Nice.
I think it's like a ton of Cartoon Network stuff on there, and apparently they do. So I didn't realize that when I'd signed up.
That's really cool.
It is cool.
That's right. They do. Yeah.
Yeah, they have
I was
South
like, do
Park
they own
on
Cartoon
there.
Network or yeah? But yeah.
They must own Cartoon Network because they have all their shit.
Or license it at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with like Turner Classic Movies and Studio Ghibli like on HBO Max. There's like a hub.
They have a Turner Classic Movies hub on HBO Max?
They do. It's
What?
not every. I don't think it's every single movie that Turner Classic.
Well, of course
has,
not.
But
That's
it's
a lot.
it's like a curated. Yeah, it's like a curated.
Wow, that's
I
cool.
have heard that Criterion and other classic movie streaming services have better than the TCM collection on HBO Max, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like Casablanca, Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, I saw
Some good
something.
ones.
I saw something else on there
Wizard
too
of Oz.
that I was just so surprised that HBO Max actually had. I was like, "Holy shit! Are you kidding me?" I can't remember what it was the other day. I just couldn't believe it. It was some Criterion that was like, I couldn't believe it was on there. They have a lot of good Criterion on
They
HBO
do.
Max. Yeah, for sure. It might have been Blue Velvet. Do they have Blue Velvet? Somebody let me know about that. It might have been that because I think they do have Blue
I think
Velvet.
I've seen it. I haven't seen Blue Velvet, but I think I've
Right.
seen that on a streaming service, and I want to say it was HBO Max.
Yeah. You never seen Blue Velvet? I highly recommend Blue
I
Velvet.
haven't. No,
Such a
I know.
great
I've heard
movie.
it's really good.
Great movie. Yeah.
It's been recommended to me before.
I do own the
I've heard it's
Criterion,
really good.
so it's a
Nice.
phenomenal film. Wonderful. Anything David Lynch, typically. The one I recommend, I don't know if HBO has it or not. They probably do now that I'm thinking about it, but Elephant Man, I recommend. 100%.
Nice.
Probably my favorite David Lynch movie. And I know a lot of people would get on
Nice.
me about that because it's the most straightforward David Lynch movie, but on the same hand, it's like it's so beautiful. You know what I mean? It's just that story. And Anthony Hopkins, my God, and that guy's still getting nominated for Oscars, but that movie might be. Oh, I know people would go Hannibal Lecter for his best performance, but there's something about his character in Elephant Man that I just find to be so endearing, and I just think he played it so well. So highly recommend Elephant Man for those of you who haven't seen it. It's so great, and it'll tear you to pieces when you watch it. Though it's like it's so sad, but
oh my gosh,
so good.
Yeah.
I've
I've heard I like really honestly don't really know that much of the story of Elephant Man. I've like
That's
heard
good.
about it.
Watch it that way. Watch it
about
without
it,
knowing.
but yeah, I've been waiting to like see a film or a play of it or something that's remarkable and have that be the way I see it.
Yeah, totally.
Hear the story. For the
I
first
definitely
time,
recommend Lynch's adaptation of it. I think that you're gonna be watching that thing first of all, and you're gonna be like, "This was made in the '80s," because Lynch really did make it feel like a '50s movie or '40s or '50s movie. Like it feels old. And like it's 80s, and you're like, what the fuck? How do you even pull this off? Because it really doesn't feel like anything from the 80s, and it's awesome for that reason, and other reasons. But Blue Velvet definitely as well. I recommend Blue Velvet highly, and I'm a late bloomer to David Lynch, just so everybody knows. Like I actually didn't get into David Lynch up until about a year ago, and like I became obsessed. Like I think that all his movies are just so good.
Have you seen? Oh man, what is it called? It's called like What Did Jack Do? I think the short film that David Lynch made.
No, but everybody tells me to
Netflix.
check it out. Everybody tells me to check it out.
It's so weird. Dude, my brother showed me that. We were literally just hanging out like one day, had like, and he was just like, "Do you want to watch this thing? It's 10 minutes." And I was like, "Yeah," and knew nothing. Had never heard about it in a million years. I was like, "Oh, David Lynch directed it, whatever."
Yeah.
You should watch it. Like that's all you should know going into it.
I feel like the short films
it's
he
great.
did like breathe new life into the David Lynch name. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's really strange. Like he's very well known, like even by some of the most casual of people because of his very wacky short films that he's done, and it's kind of funny to me. But like, yet nobody seems to want to check out like his real great movies. I mean, like his real. So it's weird to me, but
Right.
it's few and far between the amount of David Lynch fans I actually meet, and but he makes some really really phenomenal films in my opinion. But,
Yes.
yeah, like Mulholland Drive is a freaking experience if you haven't seen that one. That's one to watch. That's an experience. When you find out what happens at the end of that, it's like, oh my god, like David Lynch is a madman.
Right.
But it all just makes so much sense. Eraserhead, I mean, God, I can go on all day. I've seen like most of Lynch's films as of about a year ago, and God, they're all so good. They're all so good.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Also, speaking of Anthony Hopkins still out there nominated for awards, the Screen Actors Guild Awards happened last week, and the big thing for me was two actually big things I just remembered. But the big thing was Chadwick Boseman did win for Best Actor, and I immediately was like, I've never been like I already was like he's gonna win the Oscar, but now I'm like,
you're pretty
I would bet my
right?
entire life savings. I would bet my entire life savings at this point. I am that confident because it's the same people who are in the Academy's actors branch. I mean, there's more people in SAG in SAG than there are. It's not the exact same people, but like it's 85% of the same people who wrote for Best Actor at the Academy Awards. It's usually the same people. I've never been more, and I love, that's what I want. So I'm like so happy that it's happening. Also, Trial of the Chicago 7 won Best Acting Ensemble, which I have not seen. I will say I have not seen.
Yeah.
But like, I'll tell you what I have seen: One Night in Miami, which I think was like, which was nominated and should have won.
Yeah, I could see.
I was like,
I haven't seen One Night in Miami yet, but I can tell you as somebody who's seen Trial of the Chicago 7, that makes a lot of sense to me. As somebody who has seen Trial of the Chicago 7, it makes a lot of sense.
Right, it's quite an actor's film, I imagine.
It really is.
By the fact of how many incredible actors are in it.
Yeah, I mean,
and being directed by Aaron Sorkin, or is it directed by Aaron Sorkin?
It is Aaron Sorkin.
I know he wrote it.
It's Aaron Sorkin.
Like, and just actors saying the words of Aaron Sorkin is just gonna immediately appeal to every actor. That's what every actor wants to do.
Yeah.
So
how crazy is it?
It made sense, but I was like,
yeah, how crazy is it? That's only Sorkin's second film that he directed.
What was the first one?
Molly's Game.
Oh,
I haven't seen it, but
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah. But I want to now after watching Chicago 7. I was like, he's a really phenomenal director, like really phenomenal. I always knew he was a good writer. Obviously, he's been in the industry a long time, but
absolutely,
but his directing is just as good. So, which it makes sense if you've been in the industry a long time, you've observed, obviously, directors and things like that, and to make sure they're putting your vision to screen, the right way. And we all know he wrote that Social Network script. I doubt that Fincher changed much on that.
Oh my gosh!
So,
Have you seen? Speaking of, have you seen? There's like an I think it's at least an hour, but there's a whole documentary about the making of the Social Network. I think it's called how did they ever make a movie of Facebook? I think is what it's called. It's something like that, but it is remarkable. And there's a lot of shots from like the rehearsal process, which was literally just like, it was David Fincher, Aaron Sorkin, and then like Andrew Garfield and Jesse Eisenberg just like sitting in just at a table in like a conference room reading over the script and just talking about it. And it's some of the most like fascinating things to watch. And I mean, and it's like,
never heard of that.
And you really can tell that it's like, this is Aaron Sorkin's script. Like the way you just watch him talk about it, you're like, that is
Yeah.
This is his
Right.
his words, his dialogue, his plot.
I have the 2-disc special edition Blu-ray. I wonder if that documentary's on
Nice.
there, so it might
Maybe.
be. Yeah, I'll look into
Would
that.
recommend. I watched it on YouTube as well. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
And it's really good.
For sure, yeah, I'll check it out if I can find it. Definitely. I'm definitely checking the Blu-ray first to see if it's on there.
Oh, right.
I gotta pop that in
As you
again. It's
should.
been a long time since I've rewatched Social Network. It's been a long time. It's a really
The
great
Social
movie.
Network it's in my top 25 for sure. Top
think so?
25 movies of all time.
I don't even know
for
if I
me,
put it there, but
100%.
it's great. It's great. I don't know if I put it there, but it's great.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably like 3 other Fincher films alone that I would put over that one. Like, I mean,
Right.
Seven,
And I haven't seen many,
Zodiac, Fight Club,
Right.
I would all put over Social Network. And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
no insult to
And I get that. Fair. It's fair.
Yeah, no insult to Social Network. It's up. It's a phenomenal movie. It's just unfortunately Fincher made some better films in his career. So, yeah. So there's 3 other movies of his that I would would be contenders at least for my top 25 favorites. Over Social Network, but love Social Network.
That's
It's
fair.
probably his last phenomenal movie, I would say. Like Fincher's last phenomenal movie was Social Network, because like I really love Mank, but you know my opinions on that. I don't feel like it was
Still haven't. I'm really trying. I've committed for the last like 5 years to see. I've done it. I've watched every single movie that's been nominated for the Academy Awards. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it this year. 2 reasons. Minari is not. I'm gonna have to pay, and The Father. I'm gonna have to pay $20 to rent.
Yeah.
But then also I cannot get through Mank. Like it's gonna be really hard for me to get through Mank. I don't like it.
Are the theaters open by you yet?
I don't know.
Check
I have
on
to
that.
check.
Because they're open in New York and
there's
California.
not like I think
so they should be.
There's
by
like
you.
one Regal kind of far away.
Okay.
So iffy.
Make a double feature out of it.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah,
I would at least like
Yeah. If you're gonna take the trip,
That'd be
I mean,
cool.
you know what I mean. Just make a double feature out of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For The Father and Minari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Father Minari, I agree. I've been having a hard time getting to those.
Dying to see Minari.
Yeah.
Yeah. Minari's the one that like I really, really want to see. I know The Father is incredible, and I've heard like the way the camera moves in it, and Anthony Hopkins is just remarkable, and I know I'm gonna love it, but like I'm dying to see Minari.
Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. I both of them. I can't wait to see both of them. But I am having a harder time bringing myself to watching those two. For sure. So, that's. I'll get around to it. I was trying to think. Like I want to watch Ma Rainey and Pieces of a Woman as well. I know I can find those on Netflix, but
I definitely want to watch Ma Rainey. I don't know. Maybe if you watch Pieces of a Woman, you tell me I have to watch it, I'll watch it.
Okay.
But I definitely want to watch Ma Rainey. That's the one like on my list of the ones I have to watch. I just like also included that one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna try to get to Pieces of. That'll probably be my next watch. Honestly, is Pieces of a Woman. Of a Woman. I can't talk. Because I was interested in that movie since I saw the trailer last year or whatever. Like I always thought it looked good. So definitely something. Maybe it was earlier this year it came out. I don't remember when the trailer came out, but it always appealed to me for sure. So definitely.
I definitely have. I have no excuse for why I haven't seen Sound of Metal or Trial of the Chicago 7 yet, or Mank or Nomadland, honestly. But
they're both on
Mank or
services.
Nomadland, I'm just having trouble getting through. But I haven't even started Sound of Metal or Trial of the Chicago 7, and I just have no excuse for that.
I recommend those like before Mank or Nomadland because I think you'll like them better for sure. And I mean they're.
I think they'll be more fast paced because the thing about Mank is that I'm just like. It's so slow and pretentious that I'm like losing interest, and then Nomadland just has that really slow pace that I know is throughout and a part of it, but it makes it kind of a drag to get through. But I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, Trial of the Chicago 7 is
Seven.
It's like the everyman movie. I mean, like even Ian loved it when we reviewed it together. He enjoyed it. So like I mean, he's one of the most casual. So I recommend it for.
It seems like a very like that. Honestly, could be a sleeper for Best Picture because
I've been saying it. I think
it's so accessible. To every human who watches it.
Again, The Father Minari pending, but I'm still standing by my pick for Chicago 7. I think it will be the one. Yeah, I'm standing by it.
I still don't have a clear winner
Yeah.
because it's so hard. I mean, I want it to be Promising
Well,
Young
you
Woman.
thought
That's my pick
Nomadland
right
last
now.
time. You thought Nomadland
I do
last
think
time we talked.
Nomadland. That
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah.
I am thinking Nomadland. That's probably, if I had to pick one, I'd say Nomadland
Still think
actually.
it's Chicago 7. I'm still
Yeah.
standing by it. I
So
can't.
Promising Young Woman, please.
Oh, if that wins, I'll be
My
happy.
dream. I would cry if that won. I would cry. I'd be so happy.
I'll be happy too because I think again I think I like that better as a film than Nomadland myself. So I think that
Right.
Promising Young Woman is definitely the one to. I mean, if that won, I would be very happy for it. But it is one of my favorites of the year for sure. And then Chicago 7 though is like would be probably my top pick in that whole category though, and I think it is going to get it. Well, that and Sound of Metal.
I would not be shocked if it won.
Yeah.
Sound of Metal too. That's a real sleeper pick that could come in there. It's again because of and I'm pretty sure they still do this, the ranking system where it's not, you don't vote for the one that you want to win, you rank all of them, and then it's a combination of they take the collective ranking and then the one of that. So it's like sometimes if there's like a polarizing movie and like everybody either puts it at number 1 or number 10, then like it's going to end being number 5 and it's not going to win, but the one that everybody put number 2 or number 3 ends up winning because it's just in the collective ranks. That's how that works.
Yeah.
So it's true. Sound of Metal could be everyone's like number 2, number 3, but it ends up winning because, you know.
Yeah. I feel like if it's weird to me. I feel like if it was last year, maybe some more people would be talking about Judas and the Black Messiah, but I just feel like its timing was
that's
kind of
that's poor. The other one that I've seen.
Yeah.
I've seen Promising Young Woman and Judas and the Black Messiah, and like loved both of them though.
Yeah, they're both great.
And I think Daniel Kaluuya should win also for supporting.
I agree.
That's my pick. That's my pick, and that's who I want to win as well.
Yeah, I'm still kind of tossed up between the two on Sasha, or between him and Sasha, because Sasha's so good in Chicago 7. But could be either or. So, yeah. Anyway.
Sorry, my mother just popped in.
Oh, hi, Ma. Anyway.
You're good.
Anyway, so we got to talk about this as we haven't done so already. We'll give a quick non-spoiler for this. Godzilla vs. Kong came out, and I want to get a review out here on this channel because we need to do that. So yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong came out, HBO Max, directed by Adam Wingard. Thought the film was a lot of fun. Really had a good time with it. Human characters, not so much, but thought it was just a hell of a time. If you really like, if you were like a fan of the other movies, but you were like, I didn't really care for the human characters so much, you'll be happier with this one because it's got more of the monster action, which is really the reason that you should check it out in the first place. So I really enjoyed it for that myself, even though I've never been one that's like hated the human characters in any of these, I've actually always found some enjoyment for them because I've always kind of had an understanding, I feel like, that they were there just to drive the monsters, element of it. Even though Gareth Edwards' Godzilla kind of drove the human elements a little bit further than the rest of them, and like it wasn't as it takes away from that movie. And then the one that like had the perfect balance to me was Kong Skull Island. Now, if you ask me, I still like Kong Skull Island a little bit better. I think it's still my favorite one of these, but like Godzilla vs. Kong is like a close second for me now, and I think it's a lot of fun to watch, and just a real it is by its very definition the popcorn flick, so I just recommend it. I think it's great we're getting another film like this, like in a year where we weren't really sure how movies were going to be and things like that, so I just find that to be a lot of fun, and I really enjoy the the numbers for this have been huge. I really think the box office numbers and stuff. So obviously people are really digging that, and it's been a big deal, and it's really gonna hopefully get theaters back on track, and it should be one of them to do that because it is something that's gonna appeal to most people, I believe. Now there's some like really crazy ridiculous elements in there for sure, and I think that people are going to definitely look at that and go, yeah, the ridiculous elements, I'm not really on board for, and that's okay. But I just found the ridiculous elements to be like, oh, it's a movie about two monsters fighting, so I'm not going to take it too seriously for myself. But I think for a lot of people, it's going to depend on what are you going to get out, what are you wanting to get out of this film, and that's what it's going to depend on for a lot of people in terms of their enjoyment. So, I recommend it. For sure though, and if you guys haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out. I thought it was a lot of fun. But Sammy, what'd you think of Godzilla versus Kong?
I really actually liked Godzilla versus Kong, and I say that as someone who has only saw Godzilla 2014 weekend it came out, and then never thought about it ever again. I didn't particularly like it.
Right.
And then I never saw Kong Skull Island or Godzilla King of Monsters, just because it never really was that particularly interesting to me. And then Godzilla versus Kong came out, and I kept hearing that like it was actually quite good, and you didn't really need to watch the other ones to fully enjoy it, and that turned out to be 100% the case. That was 100% true.
Yeah.
There are definitely things that I like with Millie Bobby Brown. There were things with like her mom and her parents that I didn't fully understand, but it was not important to understand that at all. Like
Absolutely not.
you understand that
Absolutely not.
but you under like she died in some way related to Godzilla. That's it. That's all I needed to know, and I'm right, right? She died somehow relating to Godzilla, and she is now dead.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need to know. And like I understood that immediately.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
And and like Alexander Skarsgård's character, I was like, oh, he's a scientist. He had this thing.
Yeah.
He was discredited, and now here he is. That's all you need to know, because the human characters in this movie are all caveats for Godzilla to fight King Kong, and that is it. They do not try to be anything more than that. They are not written to serve any further purpose than that. And it all pays off because the actual fighting between the two are so cool and so amazing, and the camera work is so wonderful. The CGI it's too realistic. I mean, like watching it, I was never taken out for a second. No part of my brain was like, that looks a little fake. Even when we go into, I mean, a little spoil. Are we doing spoilers?
Non-spoiler.
Non-spoiler.
Keep this one non-spoiler.
That there's non-spoiler. That there's this a moment where they go to a certain place, and it looks phenomenal, and it's like it's just so beautiful, and when you do have these moments with the human characters, it's kind of mystery-ish on the Millie Bobby Brown side. Kind of felt a little Scooby-Doo, but not in an annoying way. I was never annoyed.
No, exactly.
They keep you interested enough that you're still on board because you understand that it's relating to the larger fight. And same on the Kong side. It's so minor, and it's so just to serve Kong or to serve Godzilla. Yeah. And the film knows this as well. Adam Wingard like never tries to pretend that that's not what he's doing. So, I mean, the perfect way to describe this movie is a summer popcorn.
For sure.
Don't have to think about it that hard. And you leave feeling fun and just like, yeah, that was a great time. I like Godzilla. I like Kong. I liked it when they fought each other.
Right.
And that's all the movie wants you to feel, and it succeeds.
For sure. And it's like, even though the human characters aren't, and I know you agree with me on this, we kind of talked about this before off camera here, but even though the human characters aren't, are disposable, like the actors are still very good. Like you can tell they're kind of having a good time with it still, and still trying. They know what movie they're in. It's not, again, like you were saying, it doesn't feel annoying. Like Millie Bobby Brown, I can give a shit about her character, but she still is fun to watch. You know what I mean? It's like still so much fun to watch. Alexander Skarsgård, same thing. Rebecca Hall did really good stuff here. And then the best actress is the one who we're supposed to get attached to in this film, I feel like, which was the little girl. I can't remember her name. I can't remember the actress's name.
In the movie it's Gia, but
I don't remember the actress though. I can't remember, but Gia is really, really great in the film. Like she is the highlight in terms of like characters to get attached to, because like and that's all the character that you needed to get attached to, like as far as characters go, because it was important to everything that was going on. But I definitely liken these characters to the characters in Freddy vs. Jason, which I think is a good thing, because Freddy vs. Jason is a really fun, romp of a film. I think that this is kind of the same thing. It's like the human characters in Freddy vs. Jason, they are there to serve the story and to get Kong and Godzilla, and Freddy and Jason to where they need to be, just to duke it out. And that's kind of what the human characters do here. I keep hitting my mic arm here, but anyway, so I love this movie in a lot of ways. I just think it was a really fun one to watch, and I mean, let us know what you guys thought of Godzilla versus Kong. Keep wanting to call it Kong versus Godzilla. I wonder why.
I know it.
Lastly, I'll say Wingard. Shot. I wanted to make sure I added the shots were incredible. Like, he shot this movie really, really well. There's parts where he'll actually simulate a camera that'll go on like the monster's arms, as they're throwing the punches.
So you're
and
flying with it.
You really feel it in a lot of the moments, and the color grading as well is something else that I wanted to throw in there, because the color grading just looks so good in the movie, and it's just a really fun time. I definitely recommend Godzilla versus Kong, guys. So let me know what you think. If you liked King of the Monsters, you're probably gonna like this one. If you didn't like King of the Monsters, you're probably still gonna like this one, so I recommend it either way. I think it's gonna be fun for everybody.
Godzilla and King Kong punch each other and yell in each other's faces, then you're gonna like this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know what else to tell you. You're gonna end it and being like, yeah, I liked it.
For sure.
I bet you $100. That's how certain I am.
Yeah, people are going to be taking you up on that. I hope you have a lot of hundreds.
Oh, yikes. Never mind. I cannot be held responsible for anything said on this podcast, legally or morally.
Yeah, they're just going to make me pay them now, so thank you.
Exactly.
It's Dom's corner, remember?
Fully financial compensation from Dom only. I take nothing.
We're in our corner. We're in my corner today, so
this is his corner.
Yeah,
I'm just a guest.
Yeah, thank you for that.
I said nothing.
Moving on. So let's talk about some news. Are you ready to get to the news?
I am.
Our first story today?
All right. Do you want to start with the Suicide Squad trailer?
Sure. We didn't get to that trailer last week, so let's start with that to make up
Red
for
Band.
it. Yeah.
So the official Red Band trailer for the Suicide Squad dropped, and it will be premiering on HBO Max. My computer is not loading, so I don't know exactly what month or day, but it is premiering on HBO Max. Directed by James Gunn, and this trailer to me was absolutely awesome. I'm so hyped. I'm a really big fan of Harley Quinn done well. I don't want to say I'm a fan of Harley Quinn, because it's not necessarily that, but I love the way Margot Robbie plays her, and I love what it looks like they're doing to the character. I just feel like there's so many possibilities and so many interesting things that appeal to my interest that she is capable of doing. So from that's always my main interest with Suicide Squad. I'm like, what are they doing with Harley? Because I care a lot about how she's presented in society and everything. She's a very interesting character that I care a lot about. And I love this trailer. What do you got?
Yeah, it looks good. What do you got? Or what's next? Good.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this on stereo for the past 3 weeks, guys. Go check it out there at Dom Martino and at Sammy Ramirez. Go follow us. You'll hear my in-depth opinions on it there. No, it looks good. I really hope it's a little bit closer to the Suicide Squad that I like, which is films like Hell to Pay, the animated feature. It kind of looks like they're going to go that route a little bit. So yeah, I'm excited about it for that reason. I really like the concept of the old Suicide Squad coming in to mentor in the new Suicide Squad. And yes, I just found out that Sylvester Stallone plays King Shark in the film, so that's another fun little tidbit. And so very excited. Cena looks like he's going to be hilarious. I understand why they greenlit a spin-off series for him, but anyway, let's movie pending, obviously, but what's next?
All right, so next up, we also have a new trailer for Above Suspicion starring Emilia Clarke.
Yes.
So I actually don't know much about this. I know that it kind of gave me, it's from the same director of Salt, and it kind of, as I was watching it, it kind of gave me that kind of Salt vibes, kind of a little a little Atomic Blonde, a little
Yeah,
bit in tone, like that kind of,
perhaps.
you know, badass woman just dealing with her shit, if you will,
Yeah.
kind of vibes. I mean, I was into it. I don't really
Yeah, I mean,
have that
exactly. Like,
much
I'll
thoughts.
tell you what.
It's based on a true story. I just saw that. Did
That's
not
cool.
know
That's
that.
cool too. Yeah, and that's another cool thing about it for sure. Yeah, my thoughts on it are this: like, I actually really dug the trailer in terms of like it being like it's showing me that the tone of the movie. Obviously, it doesn't give like
Mhm.
a lot of plot away, but I feel like that it's the type of movie that
Yeah.
doesn't want to give a lot of plot away. Like, it's like if you don't know about this real story, we want you to kind of go in blind to it, so you like just kind of learn
Hmm.
about it. But I think that Amelia Clark playing this kind of a role is going to be a big selling point for a lot of people on it, myself included. Like, I've been wanting to see her get a good role for a long time, and I hope that this is it. I hope this is the one that hits for her after her Game of Thrones career. I think she's so great in Game of Thrones and just hasn't really been able to hit since. She's great in Solo, a Star Wars story. Also, I mean, she plays
Hmm.
Kira very well, but I'm more. This looks like something that's like going to be challenging for her, and very excited about it for that reason. And I like the tone of it. I can at least say that so far. The tone looks really cool, and it looks like a story that I'm going to be interested in. And yeah, Amelia Clark being a badass, like she's a badass in
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, but this just looks like a different type of badass, for sure. It
Hmm.
looks like
Right.
she's in a different type of role here. So really,
Hmm.
really excited to see her taking on challenges. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. What's next?
Thanks. Also, next up, we have Lucasfilm announces that Star Wars 1313 will release this holiday season. So the return of Lucasfilm Games earlier that happened earlier this year did mean that some promising possibilities were on the way, including this new video game, which I do not know much about, but I will read you what the official press release says,
Yes, please.
which does actually sound quite cool. If you ever wanted to see what it's like to be a bounty hunter in the underworld of Coruscant, an upcoming Star Wars game will afford you the opportunity. It is a dark time as the Empire reigns over the civilians of the galaxy. And with all this darkness comes more profit for the deadliest of bounty hunters, Boba Fett. Experience the rise of the famed bounty hunter in his early years with the release of Star Wars 1313 this holiday season.
Yeah,
Boom.
that was at
That
the end
sounds
of
pretty cool,
that was at the end
honestly.
of the press release. They said that experience it this holiday season.
Hmm.
They said that
They
at the end
did,
of the
yeah.
press release. Okay, I just want to make
It
sure
is,
that
it
that was
is. They
actually in the
experience
press
the rise of
release
the famed
itself.
bounty hunter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only because like
Experience the
nothing
rise of the famed. Yeah, yeah,
nothing
yeah,
you
yeah.
read from that actually told me that it was an actual thing that was happening. So that until
Oh
you got
no.
to that
Yeah.
part, so at least it was in the press release that they did say that.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, my thoughts on this. I'll kind of give use some backstory on this, Sammy.
Yes,
They
please.
so basically this game was it was in the works back when Lucas or good old George owned the property, and
Hmm.
really great. Really they put out like test footage and everything for it, and just like game looked. I think actually there might have even been a full trailer. Not gonna lie to you. I think they
Mm.
got to the point where there was a full
Wow.
trailer for this game. Looked amazing, like looked like one of the dream Star Wars games that we've been waiting on. And like many other Lucas Arts games, it got canceled, and this was
Mm.
the one that devastated fans the most that got canceled. So I'm interested in seeing if they're gonna be able to rework this into the current canon, because it was something that was being developed back when old Uncle George was taking had been in charge of it. So I want to see if they're able to kind of rework this into the current canon. I hope they are. I know that Mandalorians are involved in it, so I think that that's going to be a big draw to a lot of fans anyway for an actual release of this game.
Hmm.
And 1313 has been a big deal as well with the Clone Wars. This last season especially, they really touched on 1313, and which is one of the underground levels on Coruscant. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's really really yeah, and that another thing that's really I think got this to get going is this is supposed to basically lead into initially it was going to lead into Georgia's Underworld series that he was doing for
That's
Star Wars,
right.
which we just got some
Have you
test
seen
footage
the footage? You've seen
it's
the
great.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say
great.
I saw that. That was
It's
cool.
so
I
good.
did see that.
Elizabeth Olsen's in that even. Like that's what's
Is
really
she?
insane.
Huh?
Yeah, like for a brief moment at
Nice.
least. She's in the footage.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I was like, I didn't realize that I wanted to, to see Coruscant like that. I was like,
Right.
oh no, I do. I
Right.
want that. I do want that, please.
I think that's what part of what makes this so exciting is we are going to
Right.
see that in this game in a really cool way, and I think this is the thing that just it was one of those announcements when this game got canceled. It was one of those things that just devastated the hell out of fans. I mean, it really did, and I think that with the Clone Wars season 7, the Mandalorian, the test footage we gotten for 13 or for the Underworld series, I think that it kind of breathed new life into this, and I think Lucasfilm, taking back the rights was probably like, yeah, we got to get this thing out there because this was a project that should never have went away, for sure, and it's something that they were probably able to work into the current canon. I would imagine, seeing as how a lot of these elements are now in their current canon in a very big way. So I think that I'm excited. I'm very excited that this is something that's actually happening finally. And, yeah, it's a big deal, very big deal. And, the other thing that I would, I'll point out here is, the fact that, like the graphics, because people are probably like, is it going to look dated? And it's like, well, first of all, they'll probably remaster it a little bit at least. And
I'm sure they have to,
the
or
graphics,
re-render it at least,
I also want to point out to people the graphics from the footage we'd gotten already from this did not look bad. They were still really good. So even for like 5 or 6 years ago, or however long it that initially came out, the original footage for it. So I think that
that Coruscant George Lucas footage, the effects did not look bad.
Right.
They did not look that bad.
Yeah, I think that this thing will be, it'll still be in good hands. I don't think it would take much reworking to get it up to date with graphics. I think that it'll probably look pretty good. And either way, I bet you this is one of the most fun Star Wars games to play. Everything we've seen from it looks like it.
Sure.
And yeah, I'm just excited to explore 1313. I remember Dave Filoni was showing some test footage for Clone Wars Season 7. And I think it was the last Star Wars Celebration that they had. He was showing some test footage. It was like slightly unfinished, still needed to have the animation done on it in some areas, but for the most part it was finished, and it was Ahsoka going down to 1313. And
wow,
he was telling people what the clip was going to be, and he's like, so we got Ahsoka, we got a little clip of Ahsoka, and we're going to find her in the new season on level 1313. And then everybody cheers, and Filoni's just like, he looks at the moderator, he's like, only in Star Wars can you just say a level of a city and people would get that excited about it. It's just but they lost their minds. That's just because
awesome,
1313 was a part of this, and it was mostly because of that game, that we never got, and the fact that Filoni was trying to reintroduce it into the Clone Wars. And that the 1313
coming
stuff
for Christmas
was really
It'll
good.
be here by Christmas, so
yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
thank God LucasArts got their rights back from EA or whatever. It's wonderful. It's wonderful because I feel like now we're gonna start, and they even said when they bought them back, like, get ready, like, we're gonna have like some really good stuff coming down the pike for you guys, and it's gonna feel like old Star Wars again. And I gotta tell you, as somebody who's been playing like Jedi Academy and Knights of the Old Republic, like the old classic Star Wars games, even though those graphics look terrible on those, it's like, God, there was just something to the old Star Wars games that just make you so happy, and just that the new ones don't have it. The graphics are great on the new ones, and there are a lot of great things about the new games, but there's just something that they're missing that the LucasArts company like actually had that EA just couldn't get. And I'm really hoping for some really great stuff on these new games for sure. So, 1313, let's go! I'm excited. I can't wait. It looks great.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's
that
next?
Sounds awesome. Awesome. Next up, we got Space Jam 2, A New Legacy. First real. Is this the first trailer? This is the first full trailer.
This is our first official trailer. Sure. Yeah, for sure.
First official trailer.
Yeah.
Ooh, another HBO Max release. I don't want to say unfortunately, but unfortunately starring LeBron James and Don Cheadle. As
You're real excited
I
about
don't
this one,
even
aren't you?
Oh boy. I mean, the thing is I've tried to just explain to other people too what the plot, like, so what's the new Space Jam about? And I'm like, oh boy, you don't want to know.
So what'd you think of the
It's
trailer?
Don Cheadle's an AI. I mean, it looked exactly how I
Really?
imagined it
Okay.
when I read what it was gonna happen. I imagined it looking very similar to this, I will say. The big thing for me, which is really coming from the internet that is fueling this for me, but it is quite a big thing, that it is odd that this is a little bit of like, it seems like a Ready Player One part two kind of thing, with all of these Warner Brothers characters in the trailer. All the Warner, every famous character that Warner Brothers owns shows up to this basketball game. And like, we're talking like
Yeah.
Baby Jane from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. We're talking the guys from A Clockwork Orange,
Right.
as long as also with, like, the Mystery Machine crew from Scooby Doo,
Right.
and like the Flintstones are here, and the Iron Giant is here, Superman is here. And a big thing people pointed out is that Pepe Le Pew is not in this movie because he was deemed too inappropriate for children.
Mm-hmm.
But
Interesting.
kids love A Clockwork Orange. I
Yeah.
know I did when I was 7. A Clockwork Orange and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane were my two favorite movies of all time.
Right.
7-year-olds today also really
Right.
love those movies. But Pepe Le Pew is too inappropriate for us. We don't like that.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing for me. It really looked very Ready Player One like. The
Hmm.
Iron Giant really enhanced this because they play prominently in both
Yeah.
trailers at least.
Yeah.
But oh boy,
Yeah.
this one's gonna be rough. That being said, can't wait to watch it. So excited.
All
Can't
right.
wait for it to come out.
All right. Great. All right. So listen, like I'm here to analyze things honestly. I can't lie to you guys about stuff. All right. So I'm here to be very honest with everybody. Look. First of all, let me tell you, I'm not, as far as his basketball playing, I'm actually not a LeBron James fan. I really don't think he's as hot shit as
I
people
have like
say.
no real preference.
Not
Right.
denying that the man's talented, folks. I'm just saying that he's not as hot shit as a lot of people say. That said, so as a player, I tend to root against LeBron, but I'm a Bulls guy and hardcore like Michael Jordan fans. So let me preface it with that. Secondly, one thing I'll say, I did like LeBron James in Trainwreck though. Like I thought he was really funny in that movie. I enjoyed watching him. I thought he did well for what he had to do. Anyway, so the second thing about this movie, though, pertaining to this specifically, is Sammy, we read this plot on this show, and you know how much of a train wreck I think that plot is. So it sounded very, very convoluted and very terrible. So sat down to watch this trailer, not really knowing what to get here. I was just like, all right, let's do this. I liked it. I know I'm in the minority here.
Wow,
I like
okay.
this trailer. I actually got to tell you,
Okay.
I told you, I got to be honest. I'm not a LeBron fan. I really was one of the ones that I wasn't against a Space Jam 2. I was just like, what are we really going to do now? It's just like, are we just going to put LeBron in there because, he wants to prove he's hotter than Michael Jordan or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I like this trailer. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I agree with your points on the Pepe Le Pew thing, and I do agree with all your sentiments there. But the movie to me looked fun. I thought it looked fun. I know like a lot of people are having like a lot of mixed opinions on this, and the thing is for me, I think that seeing it in the trailer, I thought that the trailer made the plot feel a lot more simplistic than what we were reading in that train wreck
I'll
synopsis.
give you that. Yeah,
because,
I'll give you that.
When you really
seeing it made it make more sense,
right? Because when you break down this plot, the trailer tells you exactly what the plot is, which is something that I think a good trailer does, which is LeBron's son goes missing in Toonland, and he's got to go save him. He's got to play basketball to save him, which I think is a really good, fun, simple plot and perfect for something like a Space Jam. I like this trailer. I know I'm in the minority. I've heard people shit all over it. I think that this has the potential to be a lot of fun, and I like that the trailer just told us what the plot was. I like that they're putting a spin on it too, with the fact that LeBron goes into Toonland and he's a cartoon. Like, I was like, that's cool. Michael never got to do that. So I love Michael Jordan, folks. Don't get me wrong. I love Space Jam for that reason, because I love Michael Jordan.
But he was never a toon himself.
Right. And it's cool that they're trying new things. And then I saw what they were going to do with Don Cheadle, and I was like, oh, he's not a robot the whole time. He's like, he comes he's like AI. Like, I get it. Like, it's cool.
He's kind of like of coding, kind of, is how they make him look. Like, they make him look like he's like a part of the thing, while also being like a person. Yeah. Kind of like his body's kind of like a code that can manifest or go into the thing. Yeah. Yeah,
I was never looking forward to this movie till now. Now I'm actually a little bit curious. Like, I want to see this thing. I'm a little bit more excited than I was before, which I think is what a good trailer does. So yes, I enjoyed this trailer. I hate to say it, folks. I'm in the few, but I know people are mad about Pepe Le Pew. Okay, it doesn't ruin the movie though. Come on.
Justice for Pepe. It doesn't. Justice for Pepe.
I agree. I love Pepe Le Pew, but it doesn't ruin the movie that he's not there. You still got the Bugs Bunny element. You got the Daffy Duck. You got that new spin of having all these different Warner Brothers things in there. I'm like, this is cool. This is like a way to step it up. I think people should really give this a chance. It might suck. It could very easily suck. We've read that synopsis and we're like, oh god, it could very easily suck. I'm not saying it can't suck, but this actually could be a lot of fun. And to me, it actually represented a lot of what Space Jam is anyway. So I don't understand the complaints. I think that this is this looks like fun. I hate to say it because I really wasn't looking forward to this, but I'm actually happy to see that. I'm somewhat excited for this now. Like, I want to see this movie play out. If it sucks, it sucks. I'll come back and tell you it sucks and I was wrong. But I think that the trailer looked good, and I think we might actually be very surprised by the movie. We'll see, but it looks like fun to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. So
nice. And again, like I said, I'm so excited to watch it. I'm still gonna watch it, and I'm gonna watch it. I still plan on going. I mean, unless they release a second trailer that's like makes me want to die, I plan on going in, being like wanting it to be good, feeling nostalgic for the first one, and wanting to feel those same things. So I hope it's good. Yeah, I want it to be. I'm gonna watch it, feeling excited. So we'll go from there.
Yeah. I'm surprised to say I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie, but like, it looks good. It looks like fun. I can't lie to everybody.
It was literally Ready Player One, and I am not a big. I
don't like that movie. No.
This is for another time. I could literally write a whole essay about why I don't like Ready Player One. I've read the book. I've seen the movie. It's the whole thing. I've gone through. I've been through. Me and Ready Player One have been on a journey together. And I've come out being like, I don't like it. Yeah. So it gave me like vibes like that, you know?
Yeah, Ready Player One was not good.
Not a fan.
Correct. It was not good. Yeah.
I hate the book though even more. When I watched the movie, I was like, but I like the book was so much better. And on reflection, I'm like, oh, no, the book is. I don't like the book at all. I thought I did. I used to be a big fan of the book. Yeah. And then I reread it, and then I was like, oh. Yeah. I don't like it anymore, because I saw the movie and I was like, the book is better, and I was like, is the book better? And then I went back and reread it because I thought I loved the book, and then I was like, oh, I don't know what rose-colored glasses I was wearing.
So strange, because so many people just stand by that book and like they
I know, which I say I understand it. I get it. Yeah. I only after like deep analysis did I realize that I didn't like it. So I get it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What's next?
All right, let's see. All right, let's do next up. So DC has canceled its recent spin-off plans for movies The Trench and New Gods. There are still chances that the projects could rematerialize in the future, but for the time being, the Ava DuVernay and James Wan's. Oh my god, you're just cackling you're just like.
It's not like that.
You're just like right now.
I'll tell you what it is after we're done here. I'll tell you what it is. But
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, the recently to be helmed by Ava DuVernay and James Wan, respectively, are no longer working on those projects, and since they are canceled, Yeah, pretty sad. Ava DuVernay did send out a tweet talking about how she loved writing for DC and everything, but it's just, thank you, but this is just not the time right
Yeah.
now, type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think? So what do you think about this?
Okay, so first of all, I am so sorry for Ava DuVernay, and James Wan is still going to be working in the DC
Yeah, they're
movie,
oh my
but
god, they're yeah, those are two of like some of the best filmmakers working right now.
it sounded
So
like,
I'm like, they will be okay.
yeah, they might even both get jobs in DC again. Like even Ava DuVernay, like and
Right.
James Wan will do Aquaman 2, and like I'm just sad that their initial projects kind of
Right.
got taken out from under them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but that said, I kind of read this and I was like, well, no shit.
The Snyderverse, baby.
Not only that, but I was just like, well, no shit. Because I'll tell you what, when we first heard about Trench and New Gods, did anybody really care that much about
Give
them?
a shit?
And
Yeah.
secondly, the other thing I wanted to say, or the other thing I'll say about it is, it's kind of like, it's kind of one of those things we heard about them and then we hadn't heard anything since. It's been a long time since we'd really heard anything about them. So listen, yeah, that's I guess my other point is kind of what you were saying. I think that this is actually a really good indication that we might see they might be trying to continue the Snyderverse. Now, hear me out. New Gods, what was it? What was the point of the show? Was to introduce Darkseid to everybody. Well, guess what? We got an introduction to Darkseid in Zack Snyder's Justice League that people seem to really love. I don't think it's too far-fetched to think that maybe they're going to continue with that. And I actually think that they've known this for a long time. I'm not going to lie to you. Because I think just the fact alone. Okay, so first of all, we hear about this announcement, 2 weeks after Snyder Cut comes out, 3 weeks now? I don't know. They had this. They pulled the plug a while back. I'm telling you right now. I think they saw the Snyder Cut and knew they were going to have a hit on their hands, or at least something that they were going to want to continue. I know people will disagree with me on that all day, and that's fine. I just think that the evidence just seems to be becoming clearer and clearer as we kind of move on. I mean, we've seen the numbers for the Snyder Cut. They've like doubled the HBO Max subscriptions. That's a big deal. So we have that going for it as well. And also, another thing is the fact that like, like not that long before Snyder Cut comes out, we get the announcements about, well, I guess months before, but still, Affleck's coming back. I've heard heavy rumors about Cavill coming back now. It's like, I've heard a lot of things about Cavill popping up and other things. I hear he's going to be in Shazam too, by the way. I think that that's a real high possibility.
That would be great. Oh my gosh.
Guys,
part of me, real quick, have we talked about Rachel Zegler? She's an actress who she's playing Maria in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, that she recently got cast in Shazam 2.
Oh really? Okay.
So once you immediately said that, I was like, oh my god, Rachel Zegler. Then I follow her on Twitter. Like I feel very akin spirit to her. I'm a big fan. Love you. She's not watching this, but I love you, Rachel Zegler. Big fan.
Cool.
And I was like, I would just got so excited. I was like, she would love to work with Henry Cavill. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
My first instinct. I was like, love that for her. Want that to happen now.
I bet you he is in Shazam too. I bet you he does show up. But anyway,
I thought for 1,000% when I was in the theater watching Shazam, 110%. I was like, he's showing up, isn't he? He's showing up, isn't he? And then I was trolled.
Yeah.
I was trolled in the last 5 seconds.
They trolled us all.
Yeah. But I felt like really trolled because the whole movie I was like certain.
Yeah.
It's not.
But for sure though, I mean, I think that the signs just, again, they keep, becoming clearer and clearer that I don't think that they're just throwing the Snyderverse thing away. And again, it doesn't mean Zack Snyder's coming back to do more Justice League. What it probably means is they want to make the Snyder version of that movie.
The same characters.
the canon version, because I think that is the way to go, and it just makes so much sense. Who in the hell wants the other one to be the canon one, and why would it be at this point? It's like none of them, like, even if you don't have Affleck and Cavill on there, it's like neither of them make any sense anyway if you don't have those two. So you might as well just make the one that everybody likes the canon one and just build on it.
Right.
Build on it already. Like it doesn't make sense not to. So I think that they knew that they had a hit on their hands the second they watched it. I think that these moves have been made before it came out on HBO Max. So I don't know, Sammy, what are you thinking?
I mean, do I want the Snyderverse to continue? 100%. Do I necessarily think it will? I don't know. This certainly does, though, point to that they're at least going to continue with the fact that the Snyder Cut is the canon version. And therefore, if you have Darkseid introducing something else that you also are going to put in the canon in the same universe,
Right.
that's really compromising. So, I mean, if you're looking at that, this says it 100% at least says that the Snyder Cut is the definitive canon version, the one that we recognize is the Snyder Cut.
Right.
But I mean,
so.
I want it to continue. It's just it's really hard to say because there's will Snyder even come back? Does he want to come back? I don't know. Will Affleck come back? Does he even want to come back? I don't know. Same with Cavill.
He is back, though. Affleck is back. Know. He is confirmed to be back in Flash. I'm just saying.
Is he really? Oh, that's right. He's in Flash. That's right.
Yeah,
right.
Affleck has already been confirmed for Flash. Yeah, he's already doing more stuff. Right. So that's my point. That happened months before the
Zack
release
Snyder
of
still
Snyder
stands.
Cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Zack
Snyder not knowing if he wants to do it, that stands. Yeah.
Yeah, that's different. Again, like, he doesn't have to direct the stories, but like I think that you can continue and build on what he was setting up, and I think it just makes a lot of sense. I just don't see a reason why you wouldn't. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't.
Right.
Honestly, it's like Snyder and Cavill are coming back. It's like, well, they're not coming back even if the other one's the canon version. It's like, so either way, you got this movie here in your universe that's not going to make sense anyway. So you might as well build on what was set up a little bit and try to, continue that to some degree. And I just think it's even though some people have been really dumb about the way they've, ran this campaign, I think that there's a massive campaign already. It's exploded, and people don't seem to be letting up on it. And I think that it's only a matter of time before we get some kind of announcement about what the future plan is here. Hopefully they do another one of those, because it was really good last year where they did that DC at home thing where it was like the DC. That was really DC good fandom. Last year. Fandom, right? That was really cool last year. I hope they do another one of those, and maybe we hear a little bit more about the plan.
Perfect. I was like, perfect. Hats off.
It was great.
A+ all around.
You get these like nice little 20-minute panels, and they don't take too long, and you get all the information you need, and then you just you see the trailers, and it's cool. It was fun.
And
so much fun.
That's what we want. That's what we would go to a Comic-Con to experience. That's the bare bones of it. That's the necessity.
100%. Yeah. I don't know. I think something will come of it. I just don't see it just going to rest. So. I don't see it going to rest so easily. I think we'll get some announcements for sure. But what's next?
All right, so next up, keeping on the DC train, it's being reported that The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, directed by Matt Reeves, is going to be set on DCEU's Earth 2.
Okay.
So that is claiming that. So specific plot details have been stagnant at the moment, but this version of the hero is still in its early years of assuming the vigilante persona. Blah, blah, blah. So when The Batman was first announced, it was supposed to be written and directed by blah, blah, blah. Never mind, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to find where it exactly says why. So the focus is to build its own mini universe on Earth 2, starting with The Batman. Since Pattinson's version is early years, Warner Brothers can develop his character throughout the next several years, chronicling his arc to become the confident version of the hero. But first, he needs to come to terms with his family's involvement in Gotham's corrupt system, something that he will learn more about in the movie. That's what I was looking for.
Okay. All right. Why is this news? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I recognize that sometimes I have articles put into our rundown just to pick on them. But listen, this is such a stupid ass article. It's like,
I mean, right.
I mean, what else is on? Because first of all, this article tells us nothing about like what else happens on Earth too, like that we can connect it to. Is there anything?
Right.
I don't think
Just
so.
that it exists.
Right.
And it's there.
Yeah, I don't
The
think
Riddler and Catwoman are also gonna be there. That was also the article did also talk about that.
Yeah. This clear
that version of Riddler and Catwoman would exist only in that universe.
To me, this cleared nothing up about where this movie falls. Like, apparently standalone, right. Which I think we've all suspected anyway after seeing that trailer. Yes. The only universe I can see it maybe connecting with, and this is a strong maybe, is the Joker. The Joker. That's same. The only one I could maybe same. Strong maybe see it connecting with.
I mean, especially with it did say talking about how like it's going to talk about how Bruce needs to come to terms with the fact that his family was a part of corrupt systems in Gotham, and I'm like, seems like a natural progression for that baby Bruce Wayne that we saw in Joker.
I agree. It's possible.
Seems pretty,
but I mean,
pretty right.
It's still a stupid article. I asked Joaquin Phoenix what Earth Joker took place on. He doesn't know. Nobody cares.
Okay, because he doesn't care.
It's not.
He doesn't care.
It's like
it's not important.
Exactly. I feel that way 100%. It's like they try so hard. And listen, I'm a massive DC fan, and I love the fact that they have a multiverse and all that. Yes. I think that's great. I think that's part of what makes it work in terms of their comics, at least, is the fact that you can go, multiverse with and all these different things. And I think that they've done the multiverse stuff a little bit better than Marvel on that front, but that's just me. But that said, they try to make up these stupid things for their film side of things to like justify the fact that they got 100 movies at one time going in different universes, and it's like no casual viewer is reading this article. I can promise you they're still confused as to why Pattinson's playing Batman in this one and they just saw Affleck on HBO Max. They don't get it. They're so confused. They don't understand.
Or they're gonna be like, oh, this is the sequel to Joker then, right? They're gonna think it's like a direct sequel,
right? Yeah, I mean, sure. Some nerds.
So it's the last time we saw Batman, he was a kid, and now he's a little bit older. So that must mean that this is connected to that.
Yeah, some nerds, and I put myself in the nerd category, folks. So don't take that as an insult. Some nerds will read this and go, and geek out about it. But like for the most part, this just doesn't feel like news to me. It just feels like it's just a really dumb, baffling article to me because I think it doesn't need to be. Earth 2. It could be Earth 56. I don't know. Like,
right.
Who cares?
It only really matters if then, like, I'm not sure. It doesn't. I'm not finding in the article what Earth. If it's just Earth 1 that the current DCEU is taking place in, I'm not sure. But it only really matters if they're gonna connect at some point. It only really matters if they're like, oh no, this is the beginning of they're gonna connect the Earth 2 and DCEU Earth are gonna cross over at some point, which I don't think they want to do. That doesn't seem to be on their list of things that are important to them.
Right, and let's assume that
they just want to make their good movies right now.
Let's assume Joker, and I could see this being a possibility that Joker does.
I could see it for sure. I would not be surprised.
Let's assume it does exist on Earth 2. This is still a dumb article to me because it's like they're not going to tell us it's on Earth 2 because now they've just told us this is on Earth 2 and we're going to connect the dots. They're going to leave that as a surprise.
It would be a spoiler at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, yeah, I mean, I was kind of going back to the Joker stuff to see if I could find out is Joker on Earth 2 just to see if there was a connection and they were dumb enough to do that, but no, there's nothing. So I just find this article to be irrelevant. Anyway. What's next? I'm sorry. Yeah. That was my rant on it.
Yeah. I just find it fascinating that we live in a time where we all
we live in a society. I'm just kidding.
We live in a society that assumes all of our universe, all of our stories are taking place on the same time, on the same timeline. And it's wild because up until, Marvel was the one that is credited the most and started this. So up until like 10, 15 years ago, fiction was never like, how is it going to connect with everything?
Right.
That was like the outlier. It was like, if it connected to something, that was like the biggest freaking deal in the
Yeah.
world. And for it now to be the baseline, and for it to be the assumption, is just it's a wild thing that I feel like is going to be talked about for years to come, that this was a time in film history and entertainment history that we just assumed, if it had a superhero in it and that superhero appeared in another movie, that those two movies needed to be connected somehow.
Right.
I just
Right.
it's just very interesting, and it's insane, because I don't, because again, like for me, I'm like, it doesn't need to always be in a connected universe. Like, it can't, a
No.
story can't just be a story, a movie
Right.
can't just be
I
a
agree.
movie.
I agree.
Yeah,
And I
that's
mean,
that.
if they really want to start justifying this stuff, they can't just, send this stuff over to comicbook.com to report our Variety or whoever it was, because they got to get in front of the
Right.
faces of the people that are, consuming your content. Like, nobody is
Yeah.
going on Variety. They don't check the trades like Sammy and I
Right.
all the time. So
Mhm.
get in front of people's faces somehow, and let them know, why you have multiple Batmans going on at the same time, and like,
Right.
instead of like trying to like send it over to comicbook.com and Variety, and then when people
Right.
are confused and like, I don't like this movie because I don't understand where it takes place, you
They're
can't
like,
just
oh, it's
say,
on Earth too.
yeah, can't
Okay.
say, well, we put out a statement. You
Yeah.
should have. Did you read the
Right.
statement? No. A lot of
Right.
casual viewers are not going to know what's going on unless you
And I can,
tell them.
yeah, and
And
I'm right, and I mean, we have been trained to believe this from the studio
right,
system, but like a lot of that is though, like on us, like we just assume that, like
true.
that's
And
on
you're right.
people.
You're right. I'm just saying, if
Yeah,
they're going to try to
but it's
justify it
still
at
right,
all, if they're going to try to
right,
justify it
right,
at
right,
all,
right,
then
right,
don't
right,
go over to comicbook.com and Variety and
Put
send
it
it
in
to
your
where
freaking
nobody's going to
movie.
read you. Right.
Yeah,
Do something. Just get
yeah.
it in front of
Put
people's
it where it
faces.
matters.
Right. Like if especially for like kids, for example, like if they're watching like I don't know, CW, their teeny bopper shows on
Right.
CW, like
Yeah.
put up like a like fun little short on there or something, that shows like, hey, this is, you know what I mean? Like, one
Sure,
of the things
sure.
that like I remember like as a kid, and now that I have them,
Right.
I've been watching them again, that I
Mhm.
really really loved, was like at the beginning when you pop in like the Attack of the Clones VHS tape, like at the beginning you have like 3PO and R2. They're like, hey kids,
Oh,
let's tell you a
really?
story, and they kind of like tell you how all this Star Wars like connects to one another, and it's
Huh.
really really cool. It's like, do something like that, you know what I mean, for
That's
people
so
to like
cool.
get it, like, and put it into like, I obviously we don't have
Mhm.
VHS tapes anymore, and even if we did, I mean, people would be fast forwarding through
Yeah.
the stuff anyway, but put it where kids are watching commercials, put it on YouTube,
Mhm.
put something like that for like kids, or other people, and like explain to
Yeah.
kids why they can't go see this Batman movie, but they can watch other Batman movies,
Right,
and like,
right.
make it, if you want to justify it at all, is my point, then
Mhm.
do it right. Like, don't,
Sure.
sit there and just throw it into comicbook.com and Variety, or
Right.
whatever, and just think that everybody's going to read
Mhm.
that, because they don't, honestly.
Right.
Like, if I didn't do a show, I probably wouldn't look at the trades at all myself. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I will say
whatever.
Marvel has been trying, like they do the what's it called, Legends, the Marvel Legends series on Disney Plus, which I have watched all of those, and they are actually quite
Exactly.
helpful.
At
Like
least
they do
that's
just
something.
recap the character,
At least
which
that's
I
something.
also
Yeah.
we said this before I saw this TikTok, but there is a very popular TikTok that suggests this would be a good idea as well. But there literally should be, like when you're watching WandaVision or Falcon and the
Yeah.
Winter Soldier, there should be a little icon at the bottom when they mention something, and then you
Right.
click on it, and it's Luis from Ant-Man,
Yeah.
who's like, all right, listen, so
There you
here's
go.
the thing. There was this guy Thanos, and then there was this girl, and she flew down from the bottom,
Yeah.
right? And she was like on fire, and she flew through the thing, all right? Like things like that. Like that's just it's there's an audience for it, there's a necessity for it,
Right.
and you make it entertaining and perfect.
Yeah, I'll never
Perfect.
understand
There
why
should
that's not a thing yet.
yeah.
But
I know. Oh, it would just be so perfect. Oh my gosh.
Snyder's
Just a
movies have
little thing, just have it pop up in the bottom. No one will care.
Snyder's movies, and like some of the Blu-rays, like they have things like that. If you pop in like the 300
Mhm.
special edition or the Watchmen
Right.
director's cut, like they have like icons there, and you like
Mhm.
you like click on it, and then like Zack Snyder actually pops up and explains like
Oh,
that behind the
nice.
scenes of the thing.
Love
That's
that.
awesome. It's like, That's
Yeah.
awesome. Like, why don't they
Because
do
like
that more with
especially
things?
right. Especially like with Marvel and even Star Wars and stuff, when you're like 26 movies deep
Yeah.
and like you're expecting everybody to just remember every detail from
Right.
everything, that's not always the
Exactly.
case.
Exactly.
So like you need to help you fam out sometimes,
Yeah. Even
guys.
even me.
We can't all go on fandom wiki and just read the entire article all the time. Sometimes we
Yeah.
just need like, wait, what happened? What was that again? Who was that? Like that's all we need.
Even me. Like, I always go back and watch
Mhm.
those Legends things because I know.
Same,
Even me.
same.
I need a
I forgot
refresher.
so much about Zemo. I
Right.
forgot so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. For
Mm.
sure. For sure. What's next?
All right, so next this is last but not least
Cool.
story. It's a big one. Netflix has made a near $400 million deal with Rian Johnson to direct Knives Out 2 and 3, both starring Daniel Craig. It's happening. It's going to Netflix. How hyped are you? I'm flipping hyped.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
So I'll start it this way because I was kind of talking on stereo last night about the positives and stuff like that, and I'll kind of start this
Right.
one a little bit differently. So let's actually talk about what the negatives to this are. Like, first of all,
Oh,
so the first thing is that's a lot of money, $450 million, which is good for Ryan Johnson and company. Don't get me
funny.
wrong, but the fact that they paid this much money means that they're not going to see that kind of return on Knives Out 2 and 3 unless they're like
For a
actually
while.
that great and there's something that you need to see in the theater and like it word of mouth really does spread. They'll make money on them, but they
And
won't
this was
make
just for the rights. Yeah, and it was just for the rights as well, just for the to pay for the ability to distribute
exactly, and
Knives
they
Out
still
2
have
and
to
3.
pay for the
That was
movies
all they paid
themselves.
for.
Exactly, and they
Yeah,
still have
yeah,
to fund the films
exactly.
themselves, so they're not going to see massive returns on this. So that is one of the big downfalls of this big massive swing that Netflix just took with this, in my opinion. The other thing that's a problem is we cannot deny Rian Johnson is still a controversial filmmaker. There are still people that are
Of
boycotting
course.
these Knives Out movies and anything he wants to do from here on out. So those are the cons, in my opinion. That said, the pros. Rian Johnson made a lot of money off this deal. Lionsgate made a lot of money off this deal. Knives Out was a huge success in general. It's an Oscar caliber film. Rian Johnson got nominated for best screenplay for that, and he's also an Oscar caliber director. And we also and the movie made money. And it's not the type of movie that you would usually make money in a theater, but it
Right.
did. So my recommendation to Netflix would be to have an icon at the bottom of the. I'm just kidding. Would be to take Knives Out 2 and 3 and make sure you get a nice little theater run off of them before you put them on your streaming service.
Sure.
Because I feel like with the theaters kind of coming back now with Godzilla versus Kong, and we're just seeing like people so hyped to go see Mortal Kombat in the theater. Even those,
The vaccine, I mean, the vaccine effectiveness and
yeah.
people getting the vaccine just it increases every single
I
day.
mean,
So
we're resilient
we're
like
on the
that.
up and up.
We're resilient
Yeah.
like that. We're going back to the theater in droves. So I do recommend that they definitely give this a nice little theatrical run before putting it on their streaming service. I think that they will make money if they do that. And I also recommend that they do distribute physical media for that, but that's just for my own personal cause because
Right.
I have I had the first one on 4K. I'd like
I
to
have
own the other
seen,
two.
yeah, I've seen the steelbook for Knives Out, and it is
It's gorgeous, right? It's
gorgeous.
beautiful. Yeah.
So I agree. I
Yeah.
agree with you on
Put
that.
these out on physical media. I don't know if that'll make them as much money,
Yes.
but it's still, I want them.
Netflix has done that before,
They have.
though.
Sometimes
They've
they
put
do.
like Irishman, Marriage Story.
Yeah.
They've done it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, let's say Knives Out gets nominated for an Oscar. I'm sure that they will get physical media releases. That
Sure.
seems to be when they like to do that. But anyway,
Right.
um, the pros here again is that $450 million is a huge deal, and that's not even like what they're going to use, like Sammy was saying, to fund these films. This is like something that's they have to put money on top of that. That's a big deal for
They still have
Lionsgate
to
and Rian Johnson.
make the movie and pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knives Out also is pretty much known for having this incredible cast, so you will get, something with a big ensemble cast that will make so many other big stars go, wait a minute now. Like, maybe this Netflix thing isn't too bad here. You know, some people that are maybe still skeptical, but working with them. And then the bigger thing that they're going to get out of this is filmmakers. That's going to be the biggest draw. They're going to see, because I know, you know, your YouTube channel says Rian Johnson sucks, but in Hollywood, people like Rian Johnson, and they think that he is a really talented filmmaker, and they're going to see, well, Rian did it, so we got to go do it now. You know, he did a Netflix movie. Let's go do it. Maybe even Spielberg will come around and do one. I doubt it, but, you know, you just really never know. I think that, you know, it has a lot of opportunity, you know, to get some high caliber folks involved in Netflix, and I think that Netflix needs that right now because they need the money more than ever, I feel like, in this day and age. And I think that, you know, something like that, and it's just a really good move in terms of the streaming wars, and to me it actually shows some real desperation on their part to be like, we got to make a move fast because we don't really have the draw that we used to back when we were the only streaming service in town. You know what I mean? Now there's, you know, you got your HBO Max and all these other things,
like
that
real competition,
and they bought all their shit back. So now we got to do something that's huge. I think Knives Out is actually one of their biggest and best acquisitions, in my opinion. I think this is a massive deal. And you know, they've been talking about, they've been wanting to find that real hot franchise for themselves, and Knives Out could be it. Who knows? Maybe, you know, Rian Johnson produces like a Knives Out series where it's like every week we get a new murder mystery. You know, I could see something like that maybe possibly happening.
That would be really cool.
You know, the other con on the Rian Johnson side of things is I do feel like that this means he probably won't be making a Star Wars for about another 10 years, which is a pro for some people out there. I understand that, but for Rian himself,
people go on a con. What do you mean that's a con?
Exactly. No, con for me, whatever. I really want to see his trilogy happen in Star Wars, but anyway, I think that's and it's a con for Ryan because I'm sure he wants to get around to it, but on the same hand, he's probably like, fuck, I'll make a bank with, you know, Knives Out. And again, I'm sure that whatever he made off of that, he'll put back into the films himself a little bit, his company anyway, but I think that for the most part, Netflix is putting up the bucks for these. I think that this just goes to show you, I mean, because I mean, seriously, they don't give like bad filmmakers this kind of money for something like this, folks. So, even though your YouTube channel says Rian Johnson is awful and everything and all that, it's all cool because this is a huge acquisition. I've actually just never heard of something like this for, you know, just an original property. You know what I mean? Like something that a filmmaker just came up with, you know? So I just think it's a massive, massive deal. But anyway, Sammy, I'll let you give your thoughts on this and then we'll get out of here.
Oh, I mean, I couldn't be more excited about this. I am honestly like kind of obsessed with Knives Out. I loved that movie so much. I loved specifically what I really loved, it was the way, like, taking a genre fiction but then applying it to such a worldly theme and such a current theme, while also having it all of that is the way it's able to be threaded together is with Rian Johnson and his voice through, and his tone and his writing. And I mean, I'm just, and the cast as well. The cast is just like, you know, the cherry on top of that. It's all just, you know, decorated so perfectly. Like because I remember I had no idea. I knew it was a murder mystery, and I had seen the trailer and I liked it, and I had a theory about who might have done it. And that's all I knew really going in. And I was absolutely just floored by that movie. I say that as someone who liked The Last Jedi when I saw it.
Right.
And then I kept liking it less. Like the most I've ever liked The Last Jedi is right when it ended, at the first time I saw it. It's kind of like kept going down since then. So I was not the biggest Rian Johnson fan going into it, but afterwards I'm like, it's genius. Like he understands so much. That movie is proof that he understands filmmaking and writing and characters and genre fiction and all of that so well, that I was like, he can do whatever he wants. I'll watch it. He's good now. I'm like, me and Ryan are good now after that. So Knives Out really like bridge that divide for Rian Johnson and for me. So I couldn't be happier. I'm so excited. I said on Stereo, the only thing that could have made me happier is if it also included the fact that they were going to make a Muppets Knives Out. The Muppets Knives Out. I want the Muppets Knives Out so bad. And we keep Daniel Craig as the human Benoit Blanc is still Daniel Craig. Everybody else is a Muppet. I feel like mic drop. Like, that would be the best movie of all time. I want it so bad. That would be the only thing that would make this news better for me. I can't wait.
Sorry, I have water over there, and I haven't drank it the whole episode. Like, I haven't...
Oh, nice. I thought you were going to say there was like water dripping or something.
No, I just completely forgot it was sitting over there, and I brought it down here specifically for this episode. But okay. Anyway, sorry about that. Water over there. Nice. Yeah, that reminds me of Boy Meets World thing real quick. It's like, so there's this part where Corey walks out to, he's trying to get a ride home. His brother, like, basically, leaves him in this abandoned town, and he's trying to get a ride home, and he goes out there, and it's like all that's in this town is this. He's trying to hitchhike, and this only thing that comes down the road is this guy in this like horse and buggy, like, and he comes down and he's like, can I get your ride anywhere? And then Corey's like, I would like to go. He's like, I'd like to get to Philadelphia, and he's like, the guy's like, oh well, I'm going to that lighthouse there, and then Corey's like, that doesn't really help me out. I'm trying to get I live in Philadelphia, sir. And he's like, well, I could take you as far as that lighthouse there. Corey's like, he's like, well, I appreciate the offer, but I think I'm going to pass. And he's like, okay, well, if you need me, I'll be at that lighthouse. It's so amazing. So amazing. Anyway, so I had to throw out that little tidbit. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think of Knives Out and Rian Johnson. And I'm sure most of you.
How badly do you want Muppets Knives Out? Let us know. More than Muppets, Great Gatsby? Let us know. Which one do you want more? I would give my life and soul to have Muppets Great Gatsby. You don't even know.
I think it'd be great. Make it happen. Make it happen.
I would sell my soul. I would, whatever I needed to sell, I would sell.
Do you like did you like the Baz Luhrmann Great Gatsby? Did you like it?
I didn't hate it.
I really enjoyed it.
It was alright. It's my favorite adaptation of Great Gatsby. Yeah, me too. It's my favorite movie of it. The book is still better. Like, no adaptation is better than the novel. But it's the novel and then the Baz Luhrmann one for me. Yeah, I liked it. It's not my favorite though. I didn't like love it, but I liked it.
I was just happy to see Leo and Tobey Maguire finally act together in something. They've been buddies for a long time, and I thought Edgerton and Carey Mulligan did a great job in that as well.
Oh my god, and Carey Mulligan is so good in that.
Yeah, exactly. And that Lana Del Rey song is incredible in there as well. So good.
That soundtrack. Oh my god, that was the soundtrack in general. The year that movie came out. The year that movie came out, that was like all I listened to.
Yeah. If you ever watch the Blu-ray, there's this, I think it's on the Blu-ray anyway. They did this like featurette on like the Baz Luhrmann movies, in general, and like how his soundtracks are always like
which
super
I love in general. Like,
like
Romeo and Juliet, love. Moulin Rouge, love. So like I do love Baz Luhrmann.
So they kept cutting to these guys who were like music supervisors and things like that, and then Baz, talking about like why he incorporates music and things like that. And then it just cuts real quick to Leo, who looks like he doesn't want to be there. He's like, you don't get the Baz Luhrmann movie without getting the soundtrack. It's just like it cuts away again. It's just like
he's like, about the soundtrack. I
exactly.
We have to have it.
That's exactly. It was like his one line, and he's like, you don't get a Baz Luhrmann movie without getting the soundtrack. It was like somebody clearly handed him that line to say, but okay, it was funny though. It was just it always cracks me up.
He's like, Leo, we need at least 10 seconds of you for this thing, and he was like, okay, I guess you get a music with the Baz Luhrmann movie. And they were like, perfect. Thank you so much, Leo.
And you know what? He still looks suave saying it in classic Leo fashion. He still looks
he's
suave
an incredible because he's an incredible actor. Always has been. So
he did that little classic Leo smirk with the nod, and it was good enough. You know what I mean? It passable, but in Leo standards, it wasn't good. You know what I mean? But in like general standards,
he was like,
great.
I can live with it. Right.
For sure. But yeah, guys, that'll do it today. We're gonna get out of here, so I want to thank everybody for joining. Sammy, before we go, where can people find you?
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram. I am at Sammy Ramirez 14, and then I am also on Twitter at Sammy Ramirez and Stereo as well. Follow us on Stereo. We do shows usually every Monday and Wednesday, and I'm at Sammy Ramirez over there as well.
All right, and you can find me at that lighthouse there. I'm just kidding. You can find me on Twitter at Dom _ Martino _ and on Instagram
I like
Dom
that was good. That was good.
It's Martino _ official. You're fucking me up. And then Stereo at Dom Martino. So yeah, definitely check out the shows we do there every week. And I want to thank everybody for joining. Have a wonderful night. Thank you. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.